call to order the meeting of the Haverford Township Zoning Hearing Board of Thursday, November 16, 2023. Present at the front table to my far left is Jessica Vitale, a voting member.
Evening.
Next to Jessica is Ed McGargy, a voting member.
Hello.
To my left, Ernie Angelos, our solicitor.
Good evening.
To my right, Bill Rhodes, a voting member.
Good evening.
Next to Bill is Jesse Poynton, a voting member.
Good evening.
Way down at the other table, Margie Buchanan, our right-hand woman tonight. We have one decision and one new case. Before we undertake those, Bill, would you please lead us in the pledge?
Sure. Please rise if you can and repeat after me.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The decision tonight is case Z23-23, Ellis and Amy Eisen, appellants residing at 323 Farwood Road, Wynwood, PA, who challenged the zoning officer's decision to issue a building permit for the construction of a single-family dwelling to Sleepy Valley Holdings, LLC, owner of 319 Farwood Road, Wynwood, PA, DC folio number 2208003960, for any and all of the reasons stated, including flooding concerns, workmanship concerns regarding the minimum lot area within the R4 district, 6,000 feet, pursuant to section 182206C1. Property is zoned R4 and located in the 8th Ward. Bill, would you please take that decision?
Sure. With respect to application Z23-23, I would vote to deny the applicant's appeal of and affirm the decision of the Township Zoning Officer to issue the license and inspection permit dated August 11, 2023 for the property at 319 Farwood Road.
Jesse?
I concur.
Jessica?
I agree.
Ed?
I agree.
And so do I. Our first new case is Z23-28, Lauren Turney and Ellen Mulcahy, owners of 45 Barbara Lane, Havertown, PA, DC folio number 2204-0004527, to seek variances from the provisions of section 182204C5A to encroach into the required 40-foot front yard setback by 19 feet 11 inches from section 182204C4 to further exceed the allowable 20%. I think the right number.
It's there.
Margie, do you have the agenda in front of you? You have an agenda in front of you? I know. 6 square feet. Hold on 1 second. Get it? Okay. To further exceed the allowable 20%, 2009.6 square feet building coverage currently at 23.9%, which is 2,404.7 square feet, increased to 29.3%, which would be 2,945.7 square feet, and from section 182204C6A to continue the non-conforming side yard aggregate to 23 feet where 30 foot is required, to construct a 24-foot 6-inch by 18-foot 6-inch two-car carport and covered walkway. Property is zoned R2 and located in the 4th Ward. Hi, George.
Hey, good evening.
How are you?
Great. As the board knows, we are looking to add a carport essentially in front of this residence. Wiedemann Architects has drawn it up, and the reason we're asking for that is a medical request for one of the residents in the property. When they purchased the property, to the left in front of the driveway, you can see what we have up on the screen. Used to be a garage that was converted. So now what they are proposing to do, and let me see if I can, is to add a carport. And I'll just leave that up there and flip back, and I think that's should be an exhibit to but the carport is in the shaded area there, and there's the existing condition and the proposed condition. So they're adding a carport with a covered walkway so that the residents can park under a covered area, walk into the front of the house and do that. Fortunately for us, when I was driving through the neighborhood today, there are several other carports in the neighborhood within a couple hundred yards of the residence. They are typically on the side. One of them is in the front. I have a exhibit for that that I could mark here. If I can, I guess I would like to mark should I mark the application Exhibit 1? Is that typically, do you mark them?
No, we
Or do you
typically
need
don't
me
mark
to
the
mark it?
application, but anything that's attached to it that you want to individually refer to, we would,
Okay,
I assume you're going to mark the letter.
yes, the letter. So let's just mark the
The
whole
rest of it is
application as
just,
Exhibit 1.
the rest of it's really just standing related,
Okay.
right? I mean,
Yes, the letter, and we'll have Ms. Attorney come up and testify about that. And then also, I would like to, we do have some neighbors here who are in favor of this request.
so how do you want to mark these, George? You want,
Let's just mark the letter as Exhibit 1,
so A1.
A1,
Copy
correct.
Exhibit.
Yep, and then this would be the second, the A2, which is a not, let me break these up here. I apologize for not having
All right, take your time.
court recorder. These are exhibits showing the existing neighborhood of New. Behind that, the first exhibit are copies of photos of the carport. Some of them are on
This is A2.
site. This is it. If you'd like to do that, yes. You can mark it A2.
I don't know. So, George, we're going to mark these individually. There's 4 of them, so we'll make A2 through 5. In the order that you have stapled. So, the first A2 will be the aerial Google Maps. A3, 25 Barbara Lane. A4, 34 Barbara Lane. A5, 64 Garler Drive. Although, take a look at the picture of 34 Barbara, George.
Yeah, that's the one with the blurred house.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a Google Maps feature, but there is a carport there, which you can see on the overhead shot to some extent. I did because I did not for some If you would like to, well, I'll let you guys. What I would like to do is if we go to the first sheet there, The red dot is on the house itself that is at issue, which is kind of in the top center.
So that's A2.
Yes, correct.
I
on
marked
A2.
them in the order that you had them
Okay.
stapled, so.
Then let me go to A3. A3 is actually, if you look to the left, here, I do not, but if you look to the left, there is a carport shown in the overhead. This house right here has a carport in it, which you can, it's shown in the photo, but if that's, I'm just showing you on the overhead, the location. So that's probably a quarter mile from the house. The other one that is blurred out is actually right around the corner. That's two houses. Past it, I think it's the one with, next to the left of the pool in the backyard. It's the house to the left of that. That's also the one with the blurred out carport.
The left,
Yes, it's the
if
one
we were facing the house with the pool, it would be the one to the right.
Yes,
Okay.
correct. And then the third one is up on the bend on the other street. There's a big white driveway up here in the right corner, where you can see it's a triple wide driveway. That is the photo, the fourth exhibit, which shows the actual carport in the middle of the two garages. So, and they're really just to illustrate that there are carports in the neighborhood, and they fit in well with the existing structures. So as you can see on our lot, we really don't have the option of putting it on the side of the house. And if we did put it on one of the sides of the house, it would typically go on what we're looking at on the screen is the left side, but that would also put it further away, make it a longer walk. So the architects came up with this plan, and this is what we're proposing with the variances that exist.
George, are you going
yes.
to mark the plans as well?
Yes.
So they're together, right, Bill?
Let's mark them 5, A5.
That'd be 6.
6, I'm sorry, A6. So that, there's an illustration of the proposed elevation. It fits in. There's a lot of front porches in the area. And I will call up probably Lauren Turney to explain why the medical necessity is needed. And then we have some neighbors here that are also in support of the proposal, and some neighbors that aren't, that have some written things that we will submit as exhibits also, that Ms. Turney can talk about the neighbors and their feelings. So that's really it. Unless you have some other questions, I'll put up the other witnesses and continue on.
Go ahead, George. I have a few questions, but I'll
Okay.
ask them at the appropriate time.
Okay. Lauren, you want to come up, and you're going to be sworn in?
All right, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
And your full name and address for the record, please?
Lauren Turney, 45 Lane, Haverford Town, 19083.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, George.
Okay. Good evening. Just if you could explain to the board, when you moved here, what condition the house was in, and then when you learned of your health problem and how you moved to this.
Yes, thank you so much this evening for your time and hearing our situation. We moved here 2 years ago. This was what they call a flip. It had been totally renovated inside. The former owners before the flipper were the first and long-term owners of the house. They converted, the original people converted the garage, as so many people do, and then in addition to that, next to the garage, they added a room. And in front of that room is where the driveway is. And we have to walk 30 feet from the driveway uncovered to the front door. You can see my age there. I'm about 70 years old. And with age come certain ailments, and I do have osteoporosis. And I have a specific type that I have to be incredibly careful, and it's accelerated since we bought this property. I'm so sorry. We would like to add the carport. We love this home. We'd like to add the carport. We think enough of our neighbors to hire an architect to design it appropriately and improve the facade of the house and enhance the neighborhood. What we'd like to do is take a window on the carport side and convert that into a door. And then we pull up under the carport, and then we can just get out of the car and go right in. And that prevents us from slipping and falling on the ice on the 30-foot walk. The extension of the roof of the porch roof is simply an aesthetic. We just think it looks aesthetically pleasing, and it ties the carport and the front porch. It ties it in, unifies the front of the house, and like that. Do you have any questions for me?
If George is handing you over to us, then I'm sure we'll have.
Let me think.
Why did you decide to make a change in property as opposed to a different property?
Well, we moved here from Chicago, and we were in storage, and we arrived at the end of the active selling period, August, and there wasn't much on the market. I mean, there just wasn't. That was in our price range and in a good location. And the other house that we considered very seriously, and I was actually vying for it over this, it also did not have a garage. And it was out parking on the outside and getting into the house. And with global warming and the climate, not knowing what the climate situation is going to be down the road, I assume it's just going to become worse. And with aging, we'd like to age out here, and we'd like to live here the rest of our lives. There are certain things that can be done, we've done in other properties. Chairlift on the stair, you can stay, bars open. There's a number of things, and you all are aware of them, I'm sure, that you can do to your home where you can stay there and age out. But the primary thing is the carport, is the covered safety measure of being away from the elements to access the house from the car and vice versa. One fall, and it could change the trajectory of my life. And that's it.
Let me,
Do you have any questions?
I do, one more, and I'm just, you have a number of neighbors here tonight.
Yes.
And also, I believe a number who could not make it, is that correct?
Yes, we have 5 households represented, and then I don't know how far you went out with the zoning notices or hearing notices, but I went about 3 houses each way out, and I have those that I could catch. Do you want me to give them?
No, I just described
Oh.
what that is.
I just had them at the bottom of the public notice, write if they are in support and how they feel about this. I showed them the drawings, and they were very supportive, very, very supportive. This one gets into a lot of description as to why he's so supportive. And I said, if I only could get you to come tonight, but he had to bowl. So we're,
We have a number of statements.
How many?
We received,
We'll mark those A7 collectively.
I think there's two. Yeah, 7's right, and 5 here.
and then these are from the people in the neighborhood that could not.
They could not make it tonight. It's here.
We can mark this whole package as
A7,
1.
yes.
Did I ask the qualifying question? Any other comments you'd like to make?
I'm happy to answer any question. Can't think of another comment. It's pretty straightforward.
They get a chance to ask their questions
Okay.
next, so I'll be quiet and let them read and then fire away.
Yeah, hold on one minute. So Lauren, are your neighbors on either side, your adjoining neighbors, do they have petitions in here, or are they here tonight?
They're here tonight on either side.
Okay. Jess?
Hi, how are you? I have a couple questions for you about the carport, and you're adding a new door into your house, correct?
Right.
And that room is labeled as a studio. What is that used for?
Right now, storage, but my hobby is painting, and I plan to use that as a painting studio. And the converted garage, one-car garage, is Ellen's office. She works remotely. I'm retired, and she's still working.
Okay.
And the original owners added that studio, and that woman taught dance lessons 100 years ago. And I just learned that recently.
Okay, thank you. And then my second question is, which I think you sort of answered, but did you look at converting that room back into a garage as part of this project?
It crossed our mind, but we felt like it would reduce the value of the house because it's finished space and we could use it, and it would the cost of doing so would probably be I'm guessing, many times more than the carport.
Okay. And then my final question has to do with the size of the carport. So right now you're showing a carport that is large enough to accommodate 2 cars, but my sense is that maybe only one of you needs the cover for the car. So is the 2-car carport really the minimum relief required?
Yes, she's not going to get any younger. She's 63 years old. And I think she's not going backwards. She's going to go 64, 65. And she too will have issues. It's just, and I think aesthetically, to have a double carport is more fitting with what the norm is today. They don't build one-car garages anymore. And I think you would get, we have a need in the future, but I think for resale, for aesthetics, it makes more sense because almost everyone has 2 cars, if not more. Is that kind of?
Yeah, that answers my question. And then finally, you're adding about 560 square feet of building coverage to your house. Did you look at removing the roof over your rear patio to offset that addition?
No, I did not, because as the earth warms, we have a mature tree that is probably 35 years old. And I coincidentally just had an arborist out, and we looked at that tree. That tree provides shade over the house, over that part of the house. And I know I veered off there, but the roof on the patio also, I digress there, but the roof on the patio, it's aesthetically pleasing, it fits the house, it's original, and it creates, in and of itself, shaded area and cools the interior of the house.
Okay, thank you. I have no other questions.
Ed?
Yeah, during the earlier presentation by your attorney, we talked about other carports in the area, and you've seen those, but we don't have any information that suggests that those weren't built in compliance with the setbacks. So carports aren't disallowed in the township. You could have a carport. What we're here tonight to talk about is setbacks. So you don't have any information that would suggest that these carports that you have pictures of were in violation of the code?
I have no knowledge of that.
Okay. The other question, did you consider an awning, which wouldn't be regulated as a building coverage?
It was suggested to me, and I don't think my neighbors would be thrilled if I did something temporary as opposed to something that's architecturally in sync and improve and enhance the existing structure, the dwelling. In addition to that, we will be hiring professional landscaping design to landscape the front. If we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it right. That's just, you want to get back what you put in.
Understand. My final question is, I'm looking at the two plot plans that you have, the drawing, and I look at the existing one which shows 2 cars out front, and the paving extends beyond the existing structure, but your proposed carport is narrower than the paving. How does it fit 2 cars under there? If this was
They're 7 feet. The carport, the driveway, I think the flipper built the driveway wider than the house by 7 feet. You can see it along see that the driveway extends 7 feet from into the yard beyond the wall of the house. I think the flipper did that. We'll take that off because it would look kind of, I don't think it would be aesthetically pleasing. We'll take that off and add it onto the other side, and there will be a cohesive appearance to all of the paving, pavers, whatever. I don't want to have a big strip of asphalt there.
Okay, I'm having trouble seeing that on the plan because I'm looking, you're saying you're gonna shift the carport over, towards your existing covered porch?
Okay, yeah,
Driveway on that, the existing site plan.
that's up there. See how the driveway extends beyond the side of the house?
Yes, that's
Okay.
what I'm pointing out, yes.
The flipper did that, I'm assuming. We're gonna cut that off and move the carport in towards the front door. But I don't want a strip of asphalt out there.
To clarify, you were actually removing several feet of the driveway
7,
in this revised site plan.
yes,
Well, you're adding it to the other side.
yeah.
Right, from the left, correct.
Or you'll have to have new curb cuts and shift the driveway over.
I don't think so.
I don't know how else would fit.
We can have the architects
Yeah, the
explain that
architect.
in a little bit more detail if that would
Okay.
help.
That's all the
That
question.
it? Bill?
Yeah, is the architect here?
Yes.
Yes,
And you said that I heard you testify that converting the old garage back into a garage would be multiple times more expensive than your proposal?
I'm assuming. It, and it would reduce the value of the house because then it becomes no longer finished space. And so I prefer to do this.
I understand. And you're speculating that the house would decline in value based on just square
We have
footage?
roughly 3,000 square feet. So you take out,
Can I interrupt?
yeah,
She used to be a commercial appraiser. And could probably talk a little bit more definitely about the valuation. I'm just telling you so you
I'm retired.
can question. Yeah.
Can I ask you a little bit about some of the photos of your neighbors' houses that were submitted as part of these
Yeah.
exhibits? I'm looking at page A3, which I presume was submitted as a example of a similar carport to what you're planning to do?
Is that this first one?
Yeah, it's the one from 25 Barber Lane. You see that?
Yeah,
Sure.
it's
Okay.
on the side.
So, yep, it's on the side. That carport does not project into the front yard as yours is proposed to do, does it?
No, it does not. But however, their lot on the street is narrower than ours. And they had that's the only way, well, and plus the former owners extended, I don't know if it was, they got a zoning variance to do it, but that studio space extends where those people put the carport.
Okay.
We don't have room on either side to put a carport. We even considered putting it a drive and going to the back. And there wasn't a turning radius for it.
I'm not sure what to make of Exhibit A4. Why was
Is this
this?
the one that's blurred?
Yeah,
Yes, that Google Maps blurs it. There is a single carport there, but
just
I
take your word for it.
It's around the corner.
oh, or you guys, yeah. I mean, I have a picture on my phone I can show, but
Well, let me ask you a question.
I didn't
If-
expect it to be blurred, to be honest.
Let me ask you a question. If
Sure.
you're familiar with it, does that carport project into the front yard?
No, but it violates, I'm sure it violates the side setback, which is probably about 5 feet there. I
Okay,
mean, that's all the space, and I think the first photo you showed also violates the side setback based just on the photograph. We didn't go out and measure them, but appearances indicate that.
and then in Exhibit A5, where they appear to have added a 3-car garage to the side of the house or expanded a 1-car to a 3-car at some point. That garage, is that projected in the front yard?
It does not.
Are you aware of any carports in the neighborhood that do project into the front yard?
In that neighborhood, no, but all the porches and there are, I didn't take pictures of carports. There are garages and other physical structures all throughout that neighborhood
May
that
I,
project out in front.
may I say something?
Sure.
Our lot is level. Many of them aren't. We have neighbors that can attest that their lot isn't level, right, Rich? Yeah. But the deal is this, our lot is level and it's wide. You can't put a carport on a driveway like that. You, if they can't, if the narrower the lot, the best place to put it is on the side. We don't have any side, so we're coming out the front. And in other parts of the country, that's very common.
Well, they're not before us tonight.
Okay?
So you're saying that you need a 2-car carport that would project in the front yard and into the side yard setback, not only for your own needs, but for your
Wife,
wife's needs, and
I'm projecting.
projecting. In other words, there's the Exhibit A1, the doctor's letter, is for you.
Yes.
Okay.
But you know, when you think about it, if we're going to go to this trouble and expense, it would look silly to put a single car carport. When they build houses, we have the space. When they build houses today with 2 cars, we don't do any 1-car garages in new construction today. Do you agree with that?
I guess it depends on the size of the house and what type of zoning district you're in. Some properties don't really afford the ability to put a 2-car garage on a house. You had mentioned that you would like to preserve the rear existing porch roof because it's part of the original fabric of the house.
And it serves a purpose in shading the house, the interior. That room is shaded. Therefore, it doesn't heat up at its west exposure. And that's very important. I'm not going to tell you, I planted 28 trees in that little lot. Some of them are going to have to come down. But I am working on shading that house so we can stay there. Because believe me, I mean, global warming is a fact.
The carport as proposed would be presumably open on 3 sides, correct?
Yes.
And are you concerned that, well, let me ask you, the concern about the safety for you is that's to be protected from the elements, correct?
Slip and
Snow.
fall.
Yeah. So have you thought about having 3 open sides? How much rain and snow or ice could build up on that paved area underneath this carport roof?
My thinking was that, or my opinion is that it wouldn't build up significantly and I could manage it. If we have to put if we have to heat that strip under it, that's what we'll do.
And so why wouldn't you just heat your existing driveway strip and the walkway that you have now?
Did you look at the house? This structure, the aesthetics of it and the architectural form of it will improve with the changes we are proposing. I prefer to have covered I think you're safer that way. I think, it's my understanding that heated driveways are very high in maintenance. And the house, this improves the visual architectural style of this house. It's,
Just one more question. I just wanted to make sure I understood that if you're going to convert an existing window into a doorway, so you'd be able to walk directly under the carport into the house, the only reason you're covering an extension of that, which also encroaches in the front yard, all the way over to the existing porch is purely a design aesthetic?
I'm sorry, I didn't follow.
Yep, I'm sorry. So if the idea is that you're going to convert an existing window in what probably used to be the garage into...
No, that is not. That's a studio.
Okay, so you're going to put that, a window into the studio. I'm sorry, convert the window into a door into the studio. The only reason that I think I heard you say, I just want to make sure, is that the reason you're running a covered walkway back to the existing covered porch is for aesthetics only.
Aesthetics only.
Okay, that's it.
Yep,
Thank you.
thank you for your time.
Jesse?
Almost
I'm
all.
sorry.
Oh, sorry. I mean, I think all of my questions that I had written down have already been asked, but I'll just ask you, just as far as on your proposed plan on A6, you're showing 2 cars under the proposed carport and the new door. Which spot do you think that you would park in, the left or the right spot?
Either one.
Okay. And so that would give you the shortest distance to walk to the new door?
I'd be covered.
And undercover, okay. And then I think you testified, and maybe you don't know to a certainty, but this addition, that's the studio that you mentioned that the first owners added on, you're not aware whether or not they got approval or permits
No, I
or
don't.
zoning approval, or you're not aware?
I think it was done back in the 70s.
Okay. Let me just double check. Are you going to have the architect come up as well?
Yes.
Um,
No. I got it. I have no,
What do you want?
no, that's okay.
Are we next?
Oh, the architect, you're done, right, Jesse?
Let me just double check real quick.
Hey, Lauren. You left before I could ask you a question.
Oh,
I have no
thought you
questions,
asked.
But that's okay.
Ask away.
I have none.
Okay.
I was just kidding.
I guess there was one other thing. Jessica asked you about the rear porch, if you had looked at removing that, and you already testified to that. There are also some other things identified on the existing plan, they're called existing sheds that are on the side. Could you walk us through what those are, and if you looked at removing those? And that just goes to whether or not you've looked at all the ways that you could remove building coverage and ask us for the minimum relief.
Without a garage, those 2 sheds, they're in keeping with the design of the house and the materials used on that house. They're very attractive. The original owner put those up, I'm sure, when they enclosed the garage, the original garage.
Would you say that they're built into the house? They're not just like a freestanding item, or?
No, they're built into the house. They're stuccoed, or one is stuccoed. They have a permanent roof.
Okay,
They
so-
really did a nice job.
Okay.
We keep our things that you keep in your garage, we keep those in those 2 sheds. We keep our trash cans, and lawnmower, clippers.
No other questions at this time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it. We'd also like to call up Aaron Forsman from Architects to explain the design and answer some of your questions related to that. Aaron,
Let me swear.
I'm sorry.
Please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
And your full name and the capacity in which you appear with.
Aaron Paul Forsman. Aaron Paul Forsman. Forsman.
Okay. Go ahead, George, you're going to qualify?
Yeah, Aaron, just in general, if you could explain to the board what your design tasks are, why you chose this task, and maybe some of it, you've been sitting here tonight, if you heard some questions you think you can address, just please go do so, and then I may have some more questions.
Okay, sure thing. So I guess I'll start by the main goal of this was really trying to get the quickest path of access into the house while being covered from rain and snow. So that was really kind of what we were looking for. So in terms of the main connection with that new door towards the left, that was the main goal with that, along with the carport. But then I wanted to address also that that covered walkway in the center. So it was more than just for aesthetics. It was also so that way, if you look at the left at the moment, the studio or the art studio, whatever we're calling it, it has currently, it's actually below the grade of the rest of the floor plate. So you would actually have to step down about 2 steps at the moment. So the path to the right was actually to allow a fully level path rather than a step down. And in terms of the driveway questions you were asking about earlier, I believe. So what was going on is, am I fine flipping back and forth?
Yep.
So if you look at this one first, the current driveway is to the left of the main house by about 6 or 7 feet, give or take. So what we did was shift it over around that 7 feet. So it probably would need a new curb cut if you did that. But it was mainly to do that so that it could be in line with the existing house, because we didn't want to have the carport kind of hanging halfway off to the left. And it was trying to stay within that side setback as much as possible. And any other questions you guys have, anything you want me to further explain, feel free to let me know.
Once George is done with his direct questions.
Gotcha. Thank you.
As far as, I think there were some questions regarding converting the garage back, and I believe from driving through the neighborhood, it was probably a side entrance garage. Do you have any visibility as to that?
So the garage, does it show? So the garage would have been kind of around this area, actually, not that studio. And I feel like in terms of size, it'd be hard to fit most modern cars in that size of a space. Because if you look at a lot of the Haverford Township garages that are from the existing homes, a lot of them are really, really undersized these days. And fitting a lot of the modern cars might be a bit harder to actually get the clearances around it to get into the house.
One other question. What other alternatives did you look at and dismiss prior to arriving on this final design?
So the main other alternative we did look at was trying to see if there was a way we could get some sort of path to the backyard to fill out maybe whether it was some sort of detached garage or some sort of access off the back. But the actual turnarounds and the impervious coverage, everything like that would have just been too much and too costly to actually make any of that feasible.
All the questions I have, Aaron, thanks.
Okay. Jesse?
Could you just generally walk us through what the carport would be made of? And there was testimony that it's going to be architecturally pleasing and in keeping with the neighborhood. Could you just describe in general what the material palette is?
So we were mainly trying to match with the main existing house at the moment. So we were playing around with different ideas of maybe having some sort of stone base with these columns, with looking at possible column wraps, possible pergola on top, things like that.
And is there other improvements to the front of the house planned? It look like the siding
Yes,
changes?
we were looking at possibly changing the siding, possibly repainting, things like that.
And the new roof would redoing the entire roof at the same time?
I'm not fully sure at the moment, but possibly yes.
Okay. And then the size, in your opinion, is the size of the carport the minimum for 2 cars?
Yes.
And was a 1-car carport ever looked at?
It was considered, but it didn't feel in style or in proper size with the rest of the house.
I don't have any other questions.
Bill?
Yeah, so just look on the plot plan of the proposed first floor plan that shows the proposed front elevation, which suggests stone facade all the way across the building. The takeaway here is that that might be, but it might not.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the
You
question?
had suggested that you were thinking about putting a stone facade on. You've depicted it here on the proposed front elevation. Is that something that is going to be decided later?
I can further explain. Sorry about that. So the existing facade is currently stone. I was referencing trying to get stone bases onto those columns
Oh, okay.
to tie into the main house.
I got it.
Sorry about that.
And otherwise, those columns will all be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 square columns. All right.
Yes, so the 4 on the right are currently existing, but we were looking at
Okay.
replacing them just to match the style.
Yep, great. And then on the second page, which is your proposed zoning plan sheet title ZBA-2, under where it shows the proposed new space, just on the left edge of the house, it says 82 square foot path added.
Yes.
Where is that path to be added? I understand shifting the driveway from left to right as you look at the house.
I can explain that. So if you look at the existing, their current sidewalk doesn't actually line up with the house. There's about like a foot and a half gap. So that's what that's filling in currently.
Okay, got it. And then just to the right of that on the same plan, it says 72.5 square feet path removed. Are we talking about just this curved existing pathway that's coming out? Or are
Yes.
we talking about the whole piece, including the one that goes down to the street?
So essentially what's being done for that area in general, I'll just further explain, is that curved path that's existing there, that's what's being removed. And then everything along that house is being filled in under that covered area. And then we have that new proposed new proposed path as well.
Okay. And based on your experience, what portion of this covered driveway do you think would actually remain dry and snow and ice-free, given that 3 sides of the building are exposed, of the carport are exposed?
I'm sorry, one more time?
Well, you've designed a carport that's open on 3 sides. And
Yes.
the purpose of this is for the safety of the owner occupant of the house.
Yes.
Rather than an enclosed garage, have you analyzed how much water, ice, and snow, or how many feet coming in from the outer edges that would be expected?
We haven't fully analyzed that, but just based on experience, I'd imagine it'd come in maybe a foot.
Okay, and which, I don't see compass rose on this, so which way is north on this?
Towards the bottom right, actually. It's shown on the proposed plan. If you look towards the middle, bottom left-ish.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
All
Thank
good,
you.
all good.
So that's north, so the southwest is somewhat shielded by the existing house. Got it. Okay. Bear with me, I just want to see if I had any other marks that I wanted to ask you about.
Yep, no worries.
Okay, that's it, thank you.
Ed?
Yeah, I guess the question we have is on the proposed carport, is there any thought given to the fact that the main reason you want to do that is so you can have a protected walkway into the building? Why does it have to cover the entire car? Why couldn't the front of the car, the driver and passenger seat be covered?
Are you saying like a partial off the front of the house where the driver could get out?
Yeah.
We considered that at one point, but depending on how much later in life, if you're looking at some sort of handicap van or something like that, I feel like you'd want the most space possible to actually be able to access on that driveway.
Okay, thank you.
Jessica?
I don't have any questions.
Neither do I.
I thought of one more, sorry.
Go ahead.
We always ask about how rainwater would be managed. Could you describe the guttering and downspouts that you would propose for this, since it's sticking out so much further from the house?
We haven't fully gotten into the gutters yet, but it would go towards it would slope with the roof line. So it would slope towards the left, and then with that new covered area towards the center, it would kind of just go in line with that existing gutter system.
Do you know where the downspouts would outfall?
We have not looked into that yet, no.
We often add a condition that that rainwater shall be managed so as not to adversely impact neighbors, and so you guys would be able to design around that, right?
Yes.
Okay. No other question.
Thank you, Aaron.
Awesome, thank you.
Lauren, I do have one question for you, but you don't have to come back up. Yes, if the board approved your request, would you agree to, as a condition of approval, never to enclose the carport and to only install electric as a utility within the carport, like for lights and? No, I don't want it, I wouldn't want it to turn into an addition, right? And then the next owner comes in and says, well, they enclosed this carport and now we need to come out even further, and that's why I ask.
We would never do that.
So you would agree,
We have two people, we have like 3,000 square feet.
so you would agree to not,
I would agree.
to never enclose the carport, okay.
I agree, yes.
Hey, Aaron, can I just ask one more?
Yes.
So, the studio, which would provide the direct access for the owner occupant parking in front of it. Do you have the dimensions of that room? How wide is it?
Not on here at the moment, but we do back at the office.
If you, let me then ask a question. Do you believe that this proposed design is to scale?
Yes,
Okay, on page 8, or in exhibit A, whatever,
Yes.
7, or 6, I'm sorry. So is the existing studio wide enough that if a car pulled into that, there would be room to get in and out of the car?
I'm sorry.
I just heard you testify a little while ago that one of the problems with older garages in this community is that they're not well suited for modern cars.
Yes.
Right. And so, but looking at the space of this, the width of this existing studio, does it seem to you that a car would have enough room, if it pulled straight into that space, that you could get in and out of that car?
I mean, yes, but the existing studio, I don't believe, was the previous garage.
I understood that.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
sorry.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Aaron.
Right, thank you.
I have one quick thing to respond to the question about the other carports and did they violate the setbacks. I did not go out and measure them, but I believe the setback is 20 feet on the side yards in this neighborhood. And I think it's pretty obvious from the pictures that aren't blurred that most of those carports are pushing the 20-foot limit, but I did not go out and measure them. The two additions, the triple wide one with the carport in the middle, I don't know about that. I didn't really look at that. So that's really all I have, but
Wouldn't it be 10-foot minimum, not 20 feet?
I don't have the ordinance in front of me,
Oh,
but
on the plan.
Well, on the, my application had, it's 20-foot wide there, 15, and it's extending, existing side foot pack. I can't read that. Up top, it says 20-foot minimum side setback on the diagram. So I'm all the way at the top of the right-hand side of the drawing. So I use the 20-foot number.
It says 30-foot aggregate, 10-foot minimum was the required
Okay.
front yard setback, and
Okay.
side yard setback.
Okay. I did not measure the other properties.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Do you have any other witnesses or anything?
We
you wanna-
have people, but I'm assuming you'll call them up
We'll
for the
just
notice
defer
and things.
public comment unless you have someone you specifically want to call in your case in chief.
Do you have anybody specifically you'd like to call up as a witness for your neighbor?
Everyone's going to be given an opportunity
Yeah.
to speak, so. All right,
We'll let you guys, yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions for Aaron or Lauren before we go to public comment? Jesse, Billy,
No.
Ed,
No question.
Jessica?
No.
Okay. So with that, I'll ask if there's anyone present that received certified mail that wants to testify? Anyone that received regular mail? You got certified? You're next. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I sure do.
And your full name and address for the record, please?
Kristen Shelley, and I'm at 41 Barber Lane in Havertown. Shelley, Cheli.
And what was your address again, Kristen?
41 Barbara.
Okay, what would you like to tell us tonight?
I live right next door to Lauren, and my husband and I are fully in support of this. I think it makes sense to us. I don't, we like our neighbors. I think they have good taste. I don't think they would do something that would be displeasing to anybody in the neighborhood. And I guess just to say something in support of that studio room, it's really a beautiful room. It would be a shame to lose it. It's a nice space. It has a wall of window that's sort of along the roof line, and it's bright and it's really pretty. It would be a definite loss. So.
Any questions for Kristen? Bill?
No.
Jesse? No. Jessica?
No.
Ed?
No questions.
George? I should have gone to you first, but
Question.
thank you, Kristen.
Actually, could I just make sure I understand? You're our next door neighbor. If we were looking at the applicant's house from the street, are you on the left or the right?
The right.
On the right.
Just to clarify, that's the corner house?
No.
Okay, no, it's the one in the middle. It's the one, well,
One to the right.
yes, it's not on the corner.
Yeah, we have the giant pie-shaped front yard.
Bless you, Arlene. I heard you. You tried to hold it in, Arlene, but it came out anyway. Thank you, Kristen.
Sure.
Anyone else that received certified mail? Please come up. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And your full name and address, please?
Jennifer Burnett, Burnett, 38 Garler Drive.
And what would you like to tell us, Jennifer?
So my home is on Garler, but we share like a wall, so I can see their backyard from our backyard. We fully support the carport. It personally makes me nervous that they don't, like if it snows or it's icy, it makes me nervous that they, don't have any protection for their cars. So I think it's a great idea for them. I just wanted to comment on removing the roof from the porch out back. So like we see that porch from our house, and there's like several doors, right? Like there's 4 doors off of that come off of that room. So if they took the porch off, it would be so like inefficient for the house for as far as like cold and hot. Like I feel like it would make those doors so much more exposed to the outside. Lauren and Ellen have beautiful taste. Everything they've done in their home is lovely. They just wouldn't do something that's inappropriate to the neighborhood. I feel like they're as invested in the neighborhood as we are. We all are, so.
Okay. Questions? George?
No questions.
Jessica?
No.
Ed?
No questions.
Bill?
No, thank you.
Jesse?
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Anyone else that received certified mail? Anyone that received regular mail? Come on up. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Your full name and address for the record, please.
Rich Ogle, 41 Garler Drive. O-G-L-E.
What would you like to tell us, Rich?
I've been asked to be here. Number one, questions were really, really good. I think we're sitting in the back corner and we're impressed, which makes me feel good as a homeowner around here. First thing, we think the world of these two. I'm pretty particular about people, pretty particular about aesthetics. I think in terms of people, they're a great addition to our neighborhood. I've been living here since 2005. I think if they are willing to age out here, I think was the term, I think it'd be a great.
I'm not sure what that means, but I have no.
That would be a great asset to in terms of aesthetics. I'm pretty particular in everything they seem to do, and everything they seem to illustrate for me seems to be aligned with aesthetically pleasing activities or an end result. You know, I understand the rules, and the rules sound really good, and I'm listening to some of the questions. The questions are really good. I also think character and people count too, and if there's a way that we can kind of find a way to make this work within the rules and making sure that, you know, we uphold what I think is a pretty good township.
Well, it's outside of the rules. It wouldn't have to be here. So
Understood.
I get what your point.
But if there's an avenue to do it, you know, from
I live
a
in
character
Maryland.
standpoint.
I
or
live in
people's
Maryland
standpoint.
Park myself.
All right.
So
It's a good
you
place.
got a corner of my street, almost my house in here, George. But question, Ed,
No question.
Jessica, Billy?
No, thanks.
Jess?
No, but thank you for your.
All right, I'll take it as a job well done.
George?
Appreciate it.
Question. All right, thank you. How you doing?
Hi.
Black dog, walking down the street every day.
Oh, okay. That's how do you know that? Oh, I know
I'm the
you.
guy out front for the cigarettes.
My name is Howard.
Wait, please raise your right hand. Do
Oh,
you
I'm
swear to
sorry.
tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I
And
do.
your full name and address for the record.
Howard McFarland, 57 Garler Drive, Havertown, PA.
What would you like to tell us, Howard?
I live kind of on the hill that would look across over to Barbara. And I think the carport is, as I envision it, would offer a pretty, unless you look pretty closely, it wouldn't be like building a garage there. And with the way it would be set up, I think it would fit in perfectly fine. So I'm just here to, as a neighbor, I've been in Havertown 32 years, and yeah, we have a great neighborhood, a lot of new people moving in, a lot of kids, and yeah, just support them in this.
Okay. George, questions? No questions. Jessica?
No questions.
Ed?
I have no question.
Billy?
No questions.
Jesse?
No questions.
Thanks, Howard.
Thank you. I appreciate, I've never come before this group before, but I'm impressed, like Rich.
Thank
So
you.
thank you.
Anyone else that received regular mail? Any other residents of Haverford Township? Anybody else want to come say something? You're welcome. Okay. Now. You want to take a break? Let's take a 5-minute recess, just so I make sure the board has thought of any questions they might have. I don't want anything on that. So we'll go off the record, Jeff, please. Okay. George, is there anything else you wanted to add?
Nothing else.
Okay. Any other questions? For that, I'll ask Jesse, are you prepared to vote?
I am.
Bill?
I am.
Jessica?
Am.
Ed?
Yes.
And so am I. With respect to case Z 23-28, Lauren Turney and Alan Mulcahy, owners of 45 Barbara Lane. I won't read the rest of the description into the record unless somebody specifically requests that I do so. I would vote to approve the requested relief with the following conditions: that the carport never be enclosed, the only utility installed in the carport would be electric, and water runoff be directed so as not to adversely impact neighboring properties, and that it be completed within 1 year. Jesse?
I agree.
Bill?
I disagree.
Ed?
I disagree.
Jessica?
I disagree.
That application is denied. 3-2.
All right, thank you.
Minutes?
Ernie submitted minutes from our November 2nd meeting, and I would like to make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second that motion.
In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the minutes are moved. Any other administrative matters?